Hey everybody, CW here, Card Wolf, because I'm always on the hunt for great cards. And I want to thank you for joining me today. It is Thursday, I believe. And once again, I am not opening any packs of cards today. This is a mail day video. I've got a few packages here of things that I've picked up online over the last month or so. And I thought this week would be a good week to try that. I'm kind of I guess sailing against the current this week. I know that everybody is opening a lot of 2022 Topps, the brand new product that has come out for the new year, and I'm excited about that too. But I thought I'd do videos this week where I'm actually not opening packs. I'm doing some other things to kind of give people something different to look at if you get all sort of exhausted from seeing all those packs opened and all those cards gone through. So yesterday we did a video where I gave a little tip that I use when I buy cards, and also talked a little bit about a mistake that I only just discovered that I made about 8 years ago, and I've gotten some really nice feedback from you guys about that, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's hard to, I think all of us know it's hard to kind of, put up a, big public statement about a kind of, foolish mistake that you made, but I really thought that would be a way to kind of turn it into something positive. And so I really appreciate all of your very, very kind comments about that. And some of you have even shared some experiences that you've had as well in the hobby like that. So it's been really nice to see that, and I appreciate it. Today we're doing a mail day. I've got 3 packages here I'm going to open up, and I think I know what is in each one. You can see I've numbered them to try and go in the order I want to. I'm excited about all of them, but this third one is one that I'm really excited for you guys to see. I'm excited to open it and see it in person. It's a really cool card that I'm pretty sure you guys have never seen before. And then the first package too, the one under here, has some cards in it, a very small lot of cards that are cards that I would wager that most of you have never seen before either. So this should be an exciting opening. Before I do that, I want to do some very quick shout outs to some new subscribers to the channel. I want to thank ATL Baseball Guy. ATL, I assume, stands for Atlanta. Thank you for your subscription. I really appreciate it. I also want to thank Evan Lomrantz, also subscribed just in the last, I think, 24 hours or so. So thank you, Evan. Appreciate your subscription very much. Also want to thank Part-Time Ripper. Part-Time Ripper just started back up. He had a channel for a while, and then he deleted it and closed it down because he got so frustrated with the hobby and the difficulty of getting new cards, and he just started it back up. He's someone who clearly enjoys collecting and really knows cards, but just really felt that frustration with the hobby that I think a lot of other people are feeling. And I've talked about this on the channel several times now, so I'm not going to get too into it, but there's I'm definitely seeing a trend in the hobby right now of people feeling some frustration and feeling like they can't enjoy the hobby in the way they want to, either because they can't find the cards that they want, or the price of new cards has gotten so prohibitively expensive that it's just too hard for them to keep up. And I just really want to make those folks feel like there's definitely still a place in the hobby, and you can approach the hobby any way you want and open as little or as many cards as you want. And my not opening new packs this week is kind of to be in solidarity with that, and kind of say, look, there are a lot of things you can do on YouTube that people will still respond very positively to. It doesn't have to always be new product. So Part-Time Ripper, welcome back. And any of you guys who watch my channel, maybe just go over and give them a like, maybe leave a comment, let them know that we want to encourage people to come back into the hobby, that this community is definitely big enough for everyone. Also want to thank Don't Forget to Save, just subscribed to me in the last couple of days. Thank you. And I want to spell it for people because it's kind of an odd inclusion of some numbers there. It's don't, and then the numeral 4 get, and then the numeral 2 save. So don't forget to save. Lots of variety, cards, books, horror stuff, very neat stuff from a guy who is really a true geeky fan for the stuff that he likes. And I say that not in any way as a negative. That's kind of how I describe myself about some of the things I collect, so it's definitely a positive quality in my book. So those are the shout outs. Again, thank all of you, new subscribers and old. I really want to thank all of you for being a part of the channel and leaving such nice comments and subscribing and all of that. it means just a great deal to me. I'm going to grab my scissors, which I left in the drawer over there and forgot to bring over to the table, but now I've got them, and we can get into this mail day opening and get these opened and see what we have here. I've not gotten into any of these, so I'm hoping they are what I think they are, and that I don't pull out like, a spatula or something that my wife has ordered and had it sent in my name. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but you never know. We could all be quite surprised here. All right, so we don't need that anymore. There's nothing in there. All right, so this is a very small lot of football cards that I'm going to open. And I think I told you, I don't think most of you will have seen cards from this particular set before. This is from a set that came out in the 90s, and before you start saying, oh, it's just, junk wax stuff, and, that's not really how I personally think of the 90s, but I know a lot of people do, and I certainly understand why. But this is not that kind of set. This is a set that came out in the 90s, and really not a lot of people seem to know about these cards, and they're really, really beautiful cards. They are Skybox EX 2000, and they did all 4 sports. They did, across each season, they did hockey, baseball, football, and basketball. And they're just beautiful cards. And I'm going to take these out. I bought this lot because it has a lot of superstars and Hall of Famers, and whenever I see these cards in lots, I always, if they have, Hall of Famers and superstars, I always try to get them because they're very hard to find. It starts off with Terrell Davis, and I'm just going to use this card as an example to show you what's so cool about these cards. These are acetate cards with foil printing along the edges and highlights, and then there's the player image, which is overlaid in cardboard on top of the acetate. So I'm actually going to take this one out if it will slip out very easily so that you can get a better look at what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the card. Now watch, you can see my fingers on the other side of it. That's the acetate there. It's really kind of, until you hold one of these, you don't quite realize how beautiful these cards are and how complicated they were to make. They only did this for a brief time, and they did not print these in high numbers because they were, you can see my fingers back there, they were very expensive to manufacture, as I'm sure that you can guess. These were put out in 1997. Again, this was a Skybox release, and it was very high-end, and you just don't see these very often. I'm fortunate enough that I have an unopened box of the football back here, and that's the only box of these that I have. I don't have a box of baseball, unfortunately. I would love it if I did, but they don't come up for sale that often, and when they do, they're usually about $1,000 for a box. Basketball ones come up periodically, and those are even higher. Those go for like $7,000 to $10,000. Hockey ones do come up. They go for a little less, and the football ones go for less. The football boxes, there's a range with the hockey and football, which is ironic because the hockey and football are rumored to be the ones that they printed in the lowest numbers. They printed baseball in the highest numbers, and then basketball, and then hockey and football got the lowest numbers. So let's see who I got here. There's Terrell Davis, Jerome Bettis, Marshall Faulk, Marcus Allen when he was with the Chiefs, Steve Young, and there's Troy Aikman, Thurman Thomas, great running back for the Bills, Junior Seau, and Curtis Martin. So you can see some of these, these are minor stars. Curtis Martin and Terrell Davis really aren't major stars, but Marshall Faulk, Hall of Famer, Marcus Allen, Steve Young, Troy Aikman. I mean, these are, some top-level Hall of Famers in here, so you can understand why I bid on this. Given how complicated the printing process, I'll go ahead and take Curtis Martin out so you can enjoy one more of these cards up close. Get this camera to focus. My cameraman. I need to do something about this camera situation. There you go. So you can see these are very crisp images on these cards. And again, you can see my fingers behind the acetate in the middle here. Very complicated printing process for these. And as a result, you do not see these grade PSA 10 or even PSA 9 very often. It's very hard to find these in high grades. Not just because the corners can get soft very easily, like with any card, but also because these the top plate of the card needs to match with the reverse as well. You can see that's a mirror image of the player, and they need to fit over one another just about perfectly. They sort of assembled these cards very hard cards to get good grades on. And so that was, one of the reasons I picked up this lot. These cards look like they're, for the most part, in very, very nice shape. I'm especially excited about some of these Hall of Famers in here. The Aikman is a really nice one. Steve Young and Marcus Allen as well. And, of course, the great Marshall Faulk. I mean, these are cards you just don't see a lot of in lots like that. You usually see them sold as singles. So I'm very excited to pick those up. Again, they're called Skybox EX2000 cards. And one of my Grail cards for a while was the Ripken Jr. of those. And I wanted to get it in PSA 10. I had it as a single, but I wanted to get it in PSA 10. It took me a long time, but I did finally find one for sale. There are less than 20 graded in PSA 10 in the world. So it was it was a card I didn't think I'd necessarily ever get, but I did, and I'm very happy to own that one. I should have gotten that one out. I didn't think of that. But yeah, the Ripken was a really great acquisition for me some time ago. So anyway, those are one of my picks. And if you have any questions about those cards or want to know more about them, I can certainly tell you more about them. They're really, really cool cards that most people just do not know about, and they're just beautiful cards. They look a lot better when you have them in hand and you're actually holding them. And honestly, if you pulled an insert card of this quality today out of a pack, you would be pretty thrilled. These are insert level qualities, and these are just the base set cards. They did do inserts for these, and the inserts are even more expensive. The inserts are very high. I got this lot for less than $10, by the way, just because I know you guys like to hear the prices on things. So that was a real steal. I got it at auction. I thought I'd have to pay a lot more than that, so I was pretty excited about that. Again, if you guys want to know more about those, or so maybe some of you even know more than I do about those, but it seems like most people aren't aware of that set. So I hope I've made you aware of some other cool set that you can start looking for. If you PC certain players from that era, you really want to do yourself a favor and see if you can find the EX2000 version. So this is one I also picked up on eBay, and I think this card will look somewhat familiar to you if you've watched my channel very much. This is, yes, another of the Babe Ruth, Hancaron, Willie Mays 1973 #1 cards from that set of the all-time home run leaders. And he has it marked for $12. I don't know when he put that on there, but I paid a good deal. I paid about twice that for this card. And the reason I bought this one is because even though it is off-center, as they usually are, let's see if I can get this even closer to the camera so you can check out the corners on this. This has really sharp corners, really nice edges. This, from a physical condition standpoint, this is one of the best ones I've seen, and definitely one of the best ones I have. And as I said, I paid about $25 for this. It is off-center on the back as well, but there is a stripe of black there, so it's not miscut. It wouldn't get a miscut categorization if I decided to send it in for grading, which I'm not. I'm not planning on grading this, though it does make me curious, given how sharp the corners are and how nice the edges are, what this would get. I just missed out on one of these. It just ended within the last 24 hours. It was a graded copy in a 5.5, and I set a ceiling for myself of $45, and it went for $52. And I looked to see how many other people had bid on the card at the last minute. I had 4 other bidders, so there was pretty much no way I was going to get that one. But maybe one of you won that one. I know some of you were talking about trying to get a copy of that, and it is, 5.5 is a great grade for that card. So 52 is a good price. It just was a little more than I was ready to pay. So another one of those, and I will probably, the way that Bum Luck Collector feels about big heads is probably the way I feel about this card. I'm on a quest to get a really, really good copy of that card, and can't seem to help myself if I see one come up that is at all decent. So this is the third package I want to open for you today, and this one, well, I hope it looks as good as I think it does. This is one that it's a vintage card, and it is signed by 2 players, and I've never seen this card signed by both players on the card. It's a card that is a really beautiful card just on its own. I own an unsigned copy of this card, and it's this tape's coming off already, and it's really just a lovely card that I've always really, really liked. And let's see if we can get this out of here. There we go. All right, there it is, and he's got some tape on the top there. All right, so this is a 1958 Tigers Big Bats, and it features Al Kaline and Harvey Keene, who were very popular Tigers players at that time. Boy, this blue tape is really sort of ruining the appearance of this card. Let's get that off of there. I don't need that on there. Let's get rid of that so we can really see this card a lot better. So this is Tigers Big Bats, and it is out of focus, but we'll fix that in just a second here. There we go. And it's a beautiful card all on its own. You can see it has, the cavernous Tiger Stadium in the background there, and the two players up front and center, and, some players behind them. Looks like they're, doing some batting practice or something like that. And I'm going to turn it this way so you can see that it is signed by both players, Harvey Keene and Al Kaline. And I took a chance buying this because you never know when you buy signed cards if they've been really signed by the players. Both signatures look authentic to me. I have a postcard signed by Al Kaline, and so it was easy for me to compare that. And then I went online and looked at the Harvey Keene signatures I could find, and this looked pretty good for that. But you never know, so I am planning to send this card in to get authenticated. I'm not going to get it graded. I don't think that the card physically would necessarily grade bad. I just don't think it would, grade so high that it would matter to me. But I do want to get the signatures verified. When I saw this come up, I thought, wow, I have never seen that card signed by both players. I'm not saying that I think it is necessarily unique, but the thing about Harvey Keene is he passed away in 1988. He was a long-time participant in major league activities. He was a player, of course, for many years, and then he was a manager. He took the Brewers to the World Series, in fact. They were, I think they were called Harvey's Wallbangers back then because they had a lot of sluggers. They had Gorman Thomas and Cecil Cooper, and I don't remember, I think George Scott might have still been with the Brewers then, but they had a lot of sluggers on the team, and so Harvey's Wallbangers when he managed them. And then Al Kaline, of course, one of the greatest right fielders ever to play, over 3,000 hits. I think he's got 399 home runs and won, 10 or 11 Gold Gloves. I mean, absolutely one of the top 10 right fielders ever to play baseball. Not widely collected, which is, kind of a sad thing about Al Kaline. He was a undisputably all-time great player, but just not that popular these days, overshadowed by, Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and people like that. But really one of those great players who was a fantastic fielder and a fantastic hitter as well. And he really shined in that 68 postseason for the Tigers when they went to the series with that great pitching they had. Kaline had a great postseason in 68. So anyway, enough of me rambling about how great Al Kaline was. You guys probably already know that. But anyway, I was really happy to pick this up. When I saw it listed, I thought that is really unusual. And I've collected for decades. I've never seen both players sign this card. And I thought, I'm going to take a chance on that and hope that it is really signed by both players. It came from a very reputable dealer, so I have every belief that it is, but I'm going to send it in and we'll find out. So if any of you have ever seen a copy of this card that is signed by both players, I'd love to know, because while I don't necessarily think it is unique, it was one of those, things where I just felt I'm never going to see a copy of that card signed by both players again. I've got to pick that up, and I set a ceiling on this card for myself of $100. I didn't want to go higher than that on a card where I was uncertain of its authenticity as far as the autographs. And I got it for less than that. I got it for $82, which, I feel pretty good about that. It'll cost me probably about $30 or $40, maybe more than that. Actually, I don't know how much it costs these days to get signatures verified, but it'll cost me a little bit to do that and get it in a holder. But, if it all turns out well, it's going to be a real gem in my collection that, I don't think there are many like this out there. So that was the mail day. I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I hope some of this was interesting to you and that, in fact, you did see some cards that you had not seen before. I really always enjoy bringing you stuff that is maybe new to you and maybe ignites a new collecting interest for you. I know not a lot of you do collect football cards, but as I said, they made baseball, hockey, and basketball as well, and they all look as good as these football cards do. They used the same design for all of the cards across each set. So these EX2000s are really worth looking into if you've never seen them before. I think you'll be delighted if you actually get one in your hand of a player that you PC. All right, that's enough from Card Wolf today. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and all of your great comments yesterday really meant a lot to me. And I hope this gave you a nice break from all of those rips and openings that we've been seeing. I've been enjoying them too, but just wanted to do something a little different this week on the channel than what a lot of other people are doing, and I hope you're enjoying it. I'll be back either tomorrow or Saturday with one more video for you this week, and until then, happy collecting.